You don't think it's backwards to have
Says who?
kids first
Says who?
before marriage?
Says who?
Based on your reasoning. You said
Says
you want.
who?
I'm asking you.
I just told you. I just answered that.
No, but I'm trying to understand your reasoning. You said you feel like marriage is the reward. You don't think a child should be the reward?
If he wanted to marry her, he would. Child is not more commitment than marriage. Marriage comes first. I don't understand this.
Being a baby mama is not real. That is fake.
I said most don't do it. It doesn't matter, sir. I work in the industry. I'm insurance. I'm an insurance agent. Most of them don't.
I'm an insurance agent. I get it. I heard you, right?
Yeah, most of them don't.
Control yourself, because I'm still talking.
I didn't know that, baby. I'm working.
Sometimes you lie to yourself. Some of these women think they can change that man's mind, and you sitting there lying to yourself.
No, very, very commendable. So, okay, so why don't you want to get married, though? I heard you say marriage is not for you.
This is not going. Y'all not going to understand this. Some may not, but it's. I think that should be a reward. You know, I think that there's a lot of things in what I do. I need to know that we can get through so many things together before we go there. Because can we finish?
I didn't say it.
I know he's about to. Because it's not a normal. You know, once your situation's out there, it's like anything that happened in your relationship becomes public knowledge. It's really hard not to, right? And so, not just because of that, but also because of that, I want to make sure that we are very strong in the first 5 to 10 years of our relationship. And then from there, the reward to me is like, all right, let's do this thing. We deserve this. We earn this. Mm-hmm. Versus, oh, we should get married because it's the right thing to do. Like, no, that's not. No, I don't think in terms of societal norms, I cancel all of that out of my life.
Okay.
Back to the conversation we had 33 minutes ago. I canceled all of that conversation out of my life because societal norms are not normal no more. I'm sorry. It's crazy. I'm good.
Do you don't think it's backwards to have kids first before marriage?
Says who?
Based on your reasoning. You said you want
who?
I'm asking you.
I just told you. I just answered that.
No, but I'm trying to understand your reasoning. You said you feel like marriage is the reward. You don't think a child should be the reward?
The child is marriage. What do you mean? A child is marriage. We're going to be together forever. I'm not going nowhere. Where you going?
Does Esmeralda want to get married?
Listen.
That's a yes.
Of course. I think every woman wants to get married. And
so she's okay with not getting married.
I can't speak for her. But what I will say that is we have these conversations and we're both in understanding with each other. And we understand each other's perspectives.
So explain to me so I can understand too, right? Explain to me.
Try. What more do you need me to explain?
I need a little more clarity.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
For you, I want to understand with men.
Well, hold on, wait. Okay. You dodged something. I'm not gonna let you dodge it. Societal norms. You said you don't think it's backwards. So that statement, you don't think it's backwards. Where's that coming from you? Who told you that? Who put that in your brain?
Well, for myself, I think that children are a bigger commitment than marriage. Just whether I don't know if that's societal norm.
So hold on, let me tell you how on point I am.
Okay. What
am I doing first?
You're having children. You're having a child.
Correct.
So you feel as though that's
you just said it's a bigger commitment, right?
Okay.
So if that's a bigger commitment, and you're talking to a person who didn't have a child till he was 39, what does that say to you? I plan on being with this woman.
Okay.
That doesn't mean he's going to be committed to her faithfully. He could just be with her for her having a child, and they will be in each other's lives forever. You know, that doesn't really have the depth of a marriage, a union. You know, it's more of we're doing this for the child, but not for the connection of what God and a man and woman is really supposed to be together to create life and have a child and do those things. Of course, you know, you can't really stop life from happening when it does. If somebody has a child before marriage or whatever the case is, you know, but to have that type of mindset, I just don't agree with that.
She's gonna get it when the child turned 18 and be gone. Okay, he gonna be gone with the child. That was just a way for him to keep her around as long as a kid young, don't have to worry about her dragging me to court for child support. If he wanted to marry her, he would. Child is not more commitment than marriage. Marriage come first. I don't understand this. He's not putting her first, and he's doing that now. But again, when that child gets older, he's going to be gone like the wind. Just sit back and watch. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He talking about forever. The kids gonna go off. They're gonna get married. They're gonna do their own thing. And then what have you two built together? Like I'm not understanding his logic at the end of the day.
He doesn't like
I don't
her.
know.
He doesn't like her.
So how is she losing in this scenario?
I said she's losing.
Yeah, I want to know how she's losing.
She ain't gonna get it because if you listen, she actually does want to get married. That's why he didn't want to answer the question. She actually do want to get married. But see, women would tend to do this. They would tend to just be strung along. Although she think eventually he will marry her. Trust me. She thinks he eventually will marry her. This is what this woman is thinking. Because if she didn't, let me tell you something. Kid or no kid, if I want to be with somebody, I won't. Okay. I just think that she's sticking around thinking he will eventually marry her. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but
I can tell you what she's missing, right? I see what you're saying. So there's, I don't know if they live together. So, the protection of him being in the household, covering her. At the end of the day, if she doesn't get married, then she's a baby mama. You know how y'all feel about baby mamas. Hard to bounce back from that. Now, no man wants her because she got a kid by so-and-so. All of these things are going to be a part of her. Her body's not going to be the same. She's bringing in his legacy. This is something she's doing for him because it's going to carry on his name. So those are things people don't think about the backlash that baby mamas get if it does not work out.
Taken to when when DMX passed away, right? His 10-year-old girlfriend thought she was gonna go to court and collect his money, but she had another thing coming to her. Time means nothing. And it doesn't matter if you have kids with them or not. The kid will inherit that stuff, but not her. She tried to go really take over everything. They wouldn't let her do it. So the woman has got to, again, this is where I did a 13 relationship, so I'm not against it. I'm against when you come out complaining. I'm against it when you come out and try to make it seem like it's the other person when you stayed around just like they did. So that's the issue. But in his case, listening to that interview, because he didn't want to answer that, he was like, you got to ask her. She wants to get married. She do. Don't let her fool you.
So I asked her because I asked her what she was losing. I asked her how she was losing, right?
Value. That's what she's losing.
She is gonna lose in the end.
I don't think that y'all actually gave me good reasons.
Okay.
So one of the reasons was she would be a baby mama, right? That's not a real thing. That's not a reason, right? That's just like red pill men are going to say mean things to me if I ever hop online. Like that's not a real thing. She's a man.
No, sir. That's life. Listen,
It's not.
That's not. You come into a generation with you thinking this is coming from red pill. That has been going on for generations. People used to ship people off to have babies in other states because they didn't want them to know that their daughter got pregnant, without being married. That's not a new thing. That's been going on for centuries, sweetheart.
Men used to lie about eating pussy because they were afraid. Back in the 60s, men would lie their ass off about eating pussy.
I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I just want to let me finish my point. I did get cut off.
Having a whole child.
I did get cut off, please. Like I was saying, being a baby mama is not real. That is fake. I understand the idea of it's a societal, in reality, it's not a real thing. You are a woman who had sex with a man and a baby came out because that's what happens when you have sex with a man. And now if that man is taking care of you, if he's being a good father, if y'all together, there's not a real difference between being married versus not being married. You can be with that man for 10 years and y'all can have businesses together. Or you can be a woman who just sat on her ass and just made sure that she didn't get no paperwork together. And after 10 years, she don't get nothing. But it's very easy to make sure that you can control, that whatever y'all got together, if he passes, it's very easy to do that, like with paperwork and all that type of stuff. You don't have to be married, right? I don't think you guys actually really articulated where this woman loses by being with a multi-millionaire, successful man. He's 40 years old. She's having his child. They've gone public. He's like, yo, this is what I want to do. And he said, this is what I want to do. Like making it seem like, oh girl, like you need to get married, or like you haven't actually extracted any value from him. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it makes sense.
Being an insurance agent, most people don't leave their non-spouses money. We got to stop this foolery. It's a small percentage of do, but most of them don't. I do this. This is my industry.
But you
Most
can,
of them do
right?
not. They can't. Most don't.
No,
it doesn't matter. And you got to also, I'm going to tell you something. And there's a lot of entitlement that you don't get if you're not married. So, he could put on life insurance and all that stuff, but there's a certain percentage, Social Security. Right. It's a lot of things he can't do. So again, most people don't. It doesn't matter whether or not he can. Most don't, and you're relying on that. That's like getting some. That's like this mess these men try to get these women to fall into. Well, I don't want to get married, but I'll put you on a deed on my house, and I get you life insurance. All those things he can go behind your back and change. So I disagree with that. So what they can do, what they gonna do, unless he do an irrevocable trust, he gets nothing. And this is why I tell women, y'all gotta stop falling for this bull crap some of these men be pulling on y'all, because y'all piss me off when y'all do that. Okay? Unless it's an irrevocable trust, you get no love here. Stop relying on that. So that's what I'm saying.
That's not true. That's not true. You're saying that, the only thing that he can do is if you're not married is put you on an irrevocable trust, and that's the only way that you can be taken care of if y'all. That's not true. It's not true. Y'all can have businesses
I said
together.
Most don't do it. It doesn't matter, sir. I work in the industry. I'm insurance. I'm an insurance agent. Most of them don't.
I'm an insurance agent. I get it. I heard you. Right?
Yeah, most of them don't.
Most of them don't. Has nothing to do with them. Most people aren't millionaires. How many people aren't millionaires? Right?
It doesn't matter if they are or not. Most millionaires don't leave their non-spouses money.
Based on statistics.
Oh my gosh. Look, let her find out on her own. Okay. Let her find out on her own.
I heard your position. How many men do you think out here are not having sex? There's statistics on this. How many men aren't having sex, right? Probably a lot. It's a nice amount of men who just aren't sexually active, aren't having sex. What do that got to do with me? Nothing at all. I will never be in that position. Right. So I think that when we talk about, most people don't, why is that relevant to these?
This is why women get sucked into stuff. To listen to this, your type of rhetoric right now is the reason why women are the lad will lose. Again, when that child just say the child turned 18, he gonna be gone. He got to leave her nothing. He probably can leave her stuff now, because of course she'll have to be the head of a lot of stuff with the child being underage. But when the child get 18, you'll be surprised what people do to you at the end of life. So this is the problem I don't understand. Y'all got to stop falling for this stuff. Stop falling for this.
You know how stupid a woman has to be with a millionaire, multi-millionaire for 18 years and to have his kid, and for him to, like, let's say he dies after 18 years and she can't provide for herself. You know
what? That's on her.
To be for 18 years to have a baby with a multi-millionaire, and for you to not have nothing after y'all break up in 18 years.
But that's on her though.
Stupid.
I can say that the whole legacy thing, as it relates to him, there may be some things that kid may have that other kids can't. But when I mean, it's important when we're speaking on panels, but that's just a situation. And everybody ain't marrying Mario or in a relationship with Mario. Most people are not, right? And that's just, if I'm going to give anybody, it's going to be from the top down. Like, that's just not, to me, a good situation to be in. And this is a lived experience. I'm a baby mama, it's a lived experience. I'm talking from my standpoint, like what I've seen, even from people in a situation like me. It's just not, if you can get married and do it, I think that's the better option. That's just my opinion.
Right. Well, go ahead, Mom. Hank. No, she can go in.
So there's a difference between Mario and then everyone else. I think it depends on the man and where he has in his life, where he's at in his life. Most men, like my age and over, like I'm 39, so in their late 30s, 40s, who are single, they've already gone through a divorce. So it may take them longer to want to commit to marriage. Now, I'm not saying go past like 2-3 years, because a mature man's going to know. I believe that a mature man's going to know. He's going to see a woman. He's going to be like, yeah, you know what? He's going to have those intentional conversations. And if he's not, well, he's not. But majority of men who are older have already experienced a divorce. And in that first divorce, they experience such a loss. And when you get divorced, it's usually the man who has, depending on children, you know, but it's the man who has to like end up paying for like 2 households and this like that. So I understand the reluctancy of marriage when people are older. As far as Mario, I think we also need to understand who he is, as far as like him being a celebrity. How many celebrities do you know that they get married and then they get divorced within the first like 3 to 5 years, and then the woman walks off with like poof, all this other money? We see it all the time on this panel. We talk about it all the time on this panel about a woman who divorced a man and now she's a millionaire, or you know, she has all this money. Football stars, celebrities, music artists, we see and hear it all the time, especially if she doesn't have like her own thing going, you know, like J-Lo and stuff like that. If she don't have her own thing going, she's gonna take him. And then if they have a baby, like boom, it's gonna be a wrap. So I understand his reluctancy of him saying, hey, I'm gonna wait, you know, 5 to 10 years or something like that. That's the conversation she's gonna have with him. And then, you know, go past that. I understand him wanting to wait a little bit longer because, I mean, he's Mario. I mean, come on. But outside of that, in where like all us regular median, you know, earning people, I think that you have to have the understanding of where they're coming from, especially if a man has already been married. Most men have already been married and they're divorced. But a man who desires marriage again, he'll have that conversation with you. But if he does not, because there are some men who got married and now they're divorced and they don't want to get married again. And that's when women just kind of tie themselves to them, like, oh, okay, we can just be in a long-standing relationship type of thing. And then that's an understanding and a compromise that they come to. But we have to, you know, take into consideration all of those things as well. I understand the 2 and 3 year mark, but we have to, if we're going to be honest about it, this is a real conversation that you got to have with that person. And what I'm hearing is like, there aren't a lot of people who are communicating and speaking with transparency and honesty. Like, hey, you know what? Like, we're just going to do this and then be out, or, you know, that you're not having the hard conversations. And if you're not having the hard conversations up front and you're not requiring those hard conversations up front, then you don't really get to cry about the results afterwards, especially if you're a woman and you're not married, and especially if it's something that you wanted.
Yeah, I keep hearing this word about mature or maturity, and it just keeps playing back in the back of my head consistently. And sort of I wonder to myself, like, are we producing less and less mature people today? Do we have less mature and responsible people today? Because it just seems like it's a lot of immature, unprepared individuals out here who are creating a muck, right? That's what it sounds like. And if that's the case, then I can't align with this idea that most men have been married. Most men have not been married. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like maybe 30% of some men have been married. I think the rest of them are single. I think the rest of them are childless. I think the rest of them are going through life and doing whatever they need to do. But I don't think most men, you know, have been married. I think some men are taking L's. I think some men are out here losing, you know, in life. But this has been a growing trend. So I don't know. Like when I hear the word maturity, I just find it that there's a lot of people out here who are operating in that same aspect, whether it's dating or just how they handle their life.
I'm gonna say what I always say. We are trying to apply simple solutions to complicated situations. Yes, it's true that a lot of men do not want to be married and don't say anything. It's also true that women stay with men for far too long hoping for marriage. All of these things are true. Um, but we have to understand that some people want to just be together for a long time before they get married. Some people agree on that. Some people don't, and some people don't communicate that. Women go along to get along. Men also go along to get along. There are some men that reluctantly get married. And so we do all of these things. Also, I just want to address no, we don't have more immature people now. Our parents and grandparents were very immature. What they did was got married anyway and traumatized the shit out of us because they didn't know what they were doing. But they just were married and they bought houses and had careers. But they, in effect, themselves were very immature because they didn't know what they were doing. Just like we don't. This is not something that's different. At least we're trying to figure it out. At least we can admit to ourselves that maybe we're not mature enough to have kids. Like some people are like, I ain't ready for that. And so people are waiting longer to have kids because they themselves don't want to be in a position that their parents were in and traumatize the shit out of their kids. I feel like we should be putting up money for our kids to pay for their therapy because y'all shouldn't have had kids when y'all had kids. A lot of the people that did. And y'all owe them people some money. So no, we're not making more immature people. We are making more aware people that maybe handle situations not so well. But I think that with kids out of it, I think that this the lowering birth rates, the declining birth rates are beneficial because it is producing less people who are traumatized by people who are not able to have kids, who should not be having kids.
As far as this situation, look, you got people who doesn't want to get married, don't believe in it, don't it is. It is what it is, and that's cool. Just accept it what it is. Look, I'm not going. Anybody who doesn't want to get married, I'm not going to sit there and say, "Man, you should go out there." No, I'm not going to. That's not my. I'm not going to have a conversation because I'm wasting my breath or my time having a conversation with those type of individuals. But if individuals who are looking and trying, I want to, then I can have a conversation with you. I'm not going to waste your time and try to convince you into doing something that's not for you to. That's not what you want to do. I'm not going to try to guilt you into it. I'm not. So if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But what we are seeing in this situation with Marion looks like that's what that woman wants. But he's not trying to give that to her. So he's okay with just, I guess, being a baby daddy and making her a baby mama. He's okay with it. Now, the question everyone's going to have to ask herself, is she going to stay with this? Is she going to try to wait him out? Man, praying, hoping that something, changes his mind and to convince him into marrying or rewarding her as he calls it. I don't know. Is he worth it? I don't know. That's a question she got to answer. That's the only person gonna figure out is her. She's gonna have to answer that question. If that was my daughter, and if that's what you require, I wouldn't be with him. If he's not looking to do it, I wouldn't tell her to be with him. I said move on. And y'all just have to figure a way to have to co-parent somehow, some way, because that's not what he's looking for. That's not what he wants. You may require it, and unfortunately, you gave up your ass to him, gave this man a baby, and so now you have to deal with it and pray and hoping he's a decent, upstanding type man and a great father. You hoping doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just look at it 10, 12 years down the road, they decide, because people change their mind all the time. We all have that right to do so, okay? We say that now, he say that's his partner now, but we've seen it all along, all the time. People say, yeah, that's my partner, that's my guy, that's my woman, I'm down for them. Next thing you know, they part ways. And 10, 15 years down the road, they part ways. She gets absolutely nothing. She has to be give it to her. Now she's at the mercy of him giving it to her. Whether or not okay, this is the mother of my child. I want to make sure she's okay for the rest of her life. She's at the mercy of whether or not he gonna give it to her, and it depends on how that ends. So, I think that people can do whatever they want to do. I have no problem with that. Of course, I did a long-term relationship, again, but I have a problem with people knowing they want to get married and then they stick these type of situations out. That is the issue, because they will be the ones, with gray hair complaining, I should have married him. So I just have a problem with the complainers. Not that they want to do, because he already said he didn't want to get married. So any woman that get with him got to understand that. And it don't change in his mind. I won't even try to change his mind at
He
all,
never said
period.
that.
No, not you, but I'm saying in general. I wouldn't, some people, especially us women, try to stick it out as if eventually they're going to marry us. Who was that? The lady? That's the lady?
Yes, his woman.
Okay, well, she definitely ain't going nowhere. So, but, but I'm just saying, she got to be okay with that at the end result.
Why do you think she ain't going nowhere? Because of
I mean,
complexion?
yeah, for real. I'm not going to lie.
God damn.
Yeah, for real. I ain't going to lie. Yeah. I'm just saying, I know y'all want to hear it, but that's just the truth.
Jesus Christ.
I think. Oh,
Go ahead.
I was about to say, like, a man of this type of stature, if you're a man and you're a millionaire, like, and people are trying to guilt you into making one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make, and leveraging your current earnings and your future earnings and your sanity, with something like marriage within a small time frame. I don't think that's healthy. I think I don't know. And I'm a man who I love marriage. I love the idea of marriage and stuff like that. But if we're just like, oh, you don't like, and this is coming from us be most of the time be coming from people with no money, who don't understand money, who don't understand assets. Like most people who get married, like, and we be telling women to get married, like most of them gonna get some type of security, and these niggas be broke anyway. Like most marriages, and y'all not going to marry, y'all not going and like sitting down, y'all both got lawyers and y'all really trying to come up with like, oh, I want the beach house, and like most of these people, like most of these women ain't doing that. They just getting a solid divorce and they just, calling it quits. So I don't know. And most marriage, like the 50%, like 40 to 50% of marriages end anyway, and we trying to keep forcing people to get married fast. Like, I don't know.
I think that, even when, because you were saying a lot of people don't have money, but even if we look at millionaires and billionaires, right? They're all married. Even if they get a divorce, they go back and they get married again. So it's obviously something about marriage that is of importance, right? It could be the stability of it all. It could be simply you want to raise your legacy strong so they can continue your name. You want them to be as strong as possible, because that's the one thing that's going to outlive you, right? And to carry it on. So I don't think he doesn't get a pass just because he's Mario. I think that's I just don't think that. Now, absolutely, you can't force it. At the end of the day, if she knew he didn't want to get married, and I'm pretty sure that was something he said very early on, then that's her fault. You're with somebody who is not aligned with you. You guys have different goals, right? But at the end of the day, like Dr. O said, it does seem like she wants to get married. And so my advice came from somebody who heard, indirectly, it was implied that maybe she wants to get married. And this is the advice I would give to her, knowing that she wants to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So.
You know what advice I would give to a woman who's getting a man of that stature, who wants to be married, and he's telling her, like, maybe let's give it some time. I would tell her to be smart about, how she invests her money, and be smart about how she goes about her life and things like that. Like, because I would never tell her, leave him, you'll find another one. Like, no, like, you got you a good man, like, stick it out and just be smart with what you do with your money. Like, if you got a man with those type of resources, like the girl who was dating 50 Cent or whoever, like, if you have access to this type of men, leverage their money, leverage their network, leverage all of these things. Like, a lot of women just want to sit on their butt and be house girlfriends, which is cool if that's what they want to do. But like, just having access, if I didn't have to pay bills right now, you know how much money I would have in a few years if I just didn't have to pay my bills? What? Yeah, so
I agree with you. So when we gave out advice to women earlier, this is a totally different situation because now we're talking about a baby mama, right? And I would agree with you. At this point, my advice to her would to be a great co-parent very well. Don't cause no drama. Let this man be involved with his children, have a connection with his children, be as easygoing as possible, reasonable, all that drama, put it aside. And then maybe, so I wouldn't tell her to be quick to leave like the previous conversation, because this is a totally different scenario, so to speak.
Go ahead, Bo.
So this is what is so dangerous about how people speak about this subject. Y'all would tell a woman who has been dating a guy since she was 22, 23, and after 9 years being together, living together, having a whole life, y'all would tell her to leave him. Just because it's been 9 years. Y'all don't know what that conversation has been like. You don't know what the intentions of that man is. And y'all would tell her to leave a man that she has built her life with, she is okay with, just because you think women should prioritize marriage in the first 1 to 2 years.
I said, I get what your point, but no, I said,
why? Why are we doing?
Hold on. I said I don't have a problem with two people that don't want to get married. I have a problem if she wants to get married and she start complaining about it.
Control yourself, because I'm still talking.
I didn't know that, baby. I'm working. Okay, my bad.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, and y'all would tell her to give up an entire life that she has built. And after that 9 years, right? Because you would have told her after 1 to 2, putting things into her ear about that man don't want to marry you. That man not finna marry you. He ain't asked you to marry him yet. Y'all would, like, women like that would speak negatively over that. You would talk her out of one of the best marriages ever. Because after 9 years, that woman got married. They had a house together. They had the house together, bought the house together, had the house, renovated the house 2 times, right?
Who are we referring to?
Had a son. Hold on. Okay. Finally had a son. And both of them have traveled very well, have done very well for themselves, has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life. And the best husband, takes care of his kid, is an active father, has the kid more than she does, fixes the house with his own 2 hands. You know, the traditional men y'all are talking about. Fixes the house, literally renovated the house with his own 2 hands, and does all of the things, fixes the things around the house, does all of the things, cleans up, helps with all of the house chores. She has an ideal life. And women, just because that woman had not been proposed to in a couple of years, would have talked her out of that relationship. That man is my brother, and that woman is my sister-in-law. I have seen this situation work. I didn't know why they didn't get married until 9 years later. It's none of my business. I just knew they had a nice life, and they agreed on whatever they agreed on. But we have to realize that there are relationships going on that don't look like you date, you get married in a couple of years, you have kids shortly after that. There's so many beautiful relationships that happen that don't happen the way we think as a society it's supposed to happen. And that's just my
I want to answer that. I do apologize earlier. I am working. Lapeef know that I'm working from home, and I have you in one ear, and then I have my customers in another ear. So I do apologize. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I thought you were done. So, but the thing was, nobody said that. Nobody said they would tell a woman to leave a relationship after 9 years. If she wanted, because I'm not against I'm against a woman complaining about it. I'm against had they not got married and she complained about that. She wanted it, she desired it. If she's okay in that situation, that is on her. Nobody has said that.
And I think they were referring to that's not the story of my friend who's in a relationship for 7 years. I'm not gonna put her business out there, but it's not what you just said. So
You know, if the shoe fits, Lady O, you took that thing and you put it right on. Ain't nobody, I don't think Bo said your name. I don't think nobody did that, but you put that shoe on.
It don't matter. I apologize because again, I'm working at the same time. Okay. So thank you so much for that. Hold on.
Lady O, better fix them folks' insurance. Stop talking to us. People up there had the wrong insurance.
Yeah, for real. This man to my some huh? Hold on, I'm trying to mute and everything. That's what I'm saying. My bad. Let me go back on mute.
And Shane, I didn't hear your story. I didn't. I just was like,
I think that's what I brought up a story about my friend who's been in a relationship with just being carried, in her situation, they don't live together. So when you have all that going on, I guess it's a little different. That's not their situation.
Yeah. I want to bring light to the fact that we have so many different things going, like people have so many different relationships going on. Wonderful, long-lasting relationships could look so different. You can get married after 2 weeks and it lasts forever. You can get married after 15 years and it lasts forever. Like, we have to stop telling people that relationships work a specific way. We have to do what's comfortable and feasible for us all.
Go ahead, sorry.
And be honest with each other. Like, I just think it's a lot of lying going on. There's a whole lot of lies going on. That's what I think.
That's the part, Bo. I think the lot that you're right, because I agree with you. I know friends who are in relationships, they're like life partners. Life partners are thing. Even Dr. O stated that she's looking for a life partner. She's not looking to be married. So there are people out there who are okay. We were just talking about people who want to be married. Like that's their goal. It's like no ifs, ands, but whether because God, they don't want to live in sin, whatever it is. Those are the people we were tuning in, but we do know that there are people that may not be their goal. They may be okay with just living with each other. Like I said, being a life partner. There are those people.
No, yeah. I mean, like the lies that I'm talking about are literally like women who lie about, oh, it's okay. Like I can wait. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like those lies, or men who know women want to get married and they just lie to them to keep them around. Like there's so many lies going on, people who are not being real with the people that they are around. And so then it causes so much conflict. You're unhappy, you make them unhappy. Like just tell people the truth so people can move on, or you just tell yourself the truth so you can just move on.
All right, let me get to some more of this video. Then I come. No, go ahead, Naomi. Go ahead, Naomi, and then Dope.
I think that's a really, really important thing. I've seen a lot of women who, single women keep other women single or turn them single, because there's no understanding for the relationship. And the fact of the matter is, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And when we're giving our opinions and perceptions of things, of what we think it should and shouldn't look like, I think we negate the fact that there are a lot of people who, like both said, this is an agreement that they made. And so if the woman who is not liking the agreement, if she's not speaking yet she's complaining, then she's the problem. And if the man who really doesn't desire marriage is not saying, hey, well, I really don't want marriage, I just want somebody to warm my bed, or even just have like a long distance relationship, then he's the one who's the problem. And I think if we set our own standards or things like that onto relationships, I've seen some amazing relationships just crumble because of an outside perspective that comes in and said, okay, well, why are you not married? You know, type of thing. And it leads to such a discord in the relationship when there was already such a level of peace and understanding. And that's where I'm now seeing where, like, to what Bo was saying, if you're not having these conversations in the relationship, if there's a lack of communication, then it will cause a discord. Because a woman who is solid in where she's at, you know what? Actually, I know where I'm at with him, and she's already confirmed that. Then he's already validated it. You're not gonna be able to say anything to knock her off her square, no matter what your perspective is, no matter what you say. And the same thing with him. If he's already solid in where he's at, then you're not going to be able to say anything to knock him off his square. But there's such a lack of communication, just as far as in relationships, and then outside, everybody feels like they have an opinion to a relationship that they're not involved in.
Right.
And
you know, you're right about that, Naomi. You 100% right about that. I think that if you look at Goldie Hawn, oh my bad, I'm terrible. This is why I'm not. Let me drop down.
No, you're good. Just give me a second. And that's where I wanted to bring it back to, is that if you are more inclined to listening to what other people are saying outside of your relationship, outside of your understanding, if you're not communicating to your partner you're supposed to be in a relationship with, then you on the losing end. And then if you're listening to people outside of your relationship to validate your relationship, then you both are on the losing end. Because I don't know how many times we sit here and everybody has an opinion for something that they're not involved in. They're not helping wash your clothes, and they're not feeding you, fucking you, or financing you. And make that make sense.
All right, I'm gonna drop down after this only because every time I get a break from a customer, I'll be trying to talk and you talk. I'm sorry. But I do want to say this. You're right about that. You look at like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. They've been together, what, 30-some years? 30-some years. They ain't never look at their relationship. So it can work. They have kids together and everything. It works for them. I'm not against that. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, you know, they've been together like 35 years. They got a ring and everything. They just never ever married on paper. I'm okay. Like again, I was married and I did a 13-year relationship. I'm okay with not getting married. That's just my personal opinion. You know, I'm good. I'm talking about the ones that complain about it. I'm talking about the ones that desire marriage and they end up sticking it out with people who know married them. That's who I come after. I don't care if you don't want to get married. That's totally on you. You just get what you get at the end of the day. But and like you say, I think I heard somebody up here earlier, if it's Bo or you, Naomi, that said, people lie. And people lie. People hide, they suppress their feelings. They know they want to get married, but then they just stick it out with somebody. Then 10 years down the road, it don't work out. And then he go out here or she go out here and marry somebody else after 2 years. And then you're hurt and you're mad because he didn't marry you. That is the issue that I have. You have to be okay with that if that happened because you stuck with that person for so long. And that's all I want to say to that. Yeah.
Real fast, I want to make a point that sometimes you lie to yourself. Some of these women think they can change that man's mind, and you sitting there lying to yourself. The man told you he didn't want to be married, and you feel like you can change his mind. If I stick in there, he gonna change his mind. So you got this little la la land thing going on in your head, because women be delusional sometimes. I know y'all how y'all do, and guess what? He ain't about to marry you. He's not.